we all know there are problems with Ethereum virtual machines, almost all of them in existence. The vast majority, with maybe 3 exceptions, one of ours being one of them, are actually just built on the Go Ethereum Geth program. And that's how they are run. And so they all share to some extent the same limitations. So for all the concerns and everything and all the things people don't like about Block 1, and some people don't like them about EOS, it's very hard to untangle these. It is really, truly the best, fastest, most reliable platform for blockchain in existence. It's battle tested. Everyone else is throwing around numbers for TPS that are theoretical, and then they do tests and they crash and they realize that they're grossly exaggerated. We, the EOCO chains, worked together and actually tested some of these out. We actually did get over 10,000 transactions per second, and the technology is growing from there. It's so strong and it's powerful, in fact, that we actually run our EVM as a single smart contract on Telos.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Distributed Show, and I am Jerry Rucker, your host for today. I have a special guest. He's been on my personal channel. If you guys want to check that out, I'll leave a link to that in the description of this video. But I've got Douglas Horn, who is the founder and CEO of GoodBlock. We'll talk about that company and what he's doing over there. He's the architect and white paper author as well, and leader of the Telos core developer team. But this guy is definitely one you want to pay attention to, and he's going to talk to us today about Telos, their roadmap, what Telos is. Maybe some of you don't know. You should know if you're watching the Distributed Show. Let me bring in Doug here. Doug, I appreciate you coming on today. Welcome to the Distributed Show. I got to get used to saying distributed, not decentralized. There is a difference, right?
Mm-hmm. There is. It's boring. Jerry, it's probably the greatest introduction I think I remember having. And gee, no pressure, buddy.
So I want to kind of walk us through Telos, GoodBlock. I want to know about GoodBlock as well. GoodBlock.io. What is that company all about? Is that still active?
Yeah, it's very active. So GoodBlock is a company that I had been already working in crypto, but in I think 2015 I started it, and to sort of formalize that because I wanted to really do some stuff, and man, we have a great staff. We have some fantastic. We've been focusing on building foundational elements of Web3, even before anyone knew what that was. And the elements that we've really we concentrated on are decentralized storage with dStore, governance with Telos Decide and Decide Voter, and just now Decide DAO, Decide Enterprise is a suite of tools, and then blockchain, right? So these are like 3 of maybe the 5 pillars of Web3, and we participate in Telos as a blockchain. When I kicked it off. I'd like to say that we don't really have founders in Telos, but because everyone's a founder, you can't have one person never makes a network. Right. We have a great team at GoodBlock that we've grown over the years. We have a lot of expertise in a lot of areas, and it's been completely bootstrapped on our own. Only now are we actually finally going out and saying, okay, now we've got some stuff to make some big money on. So we're very fortunate that we've been able to keep it closely held.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now does GoodBlock only focus on Telos, or do you guys operate on a number of the EOS.io blockchains?
In EOS.io, we only focus on Telos, but the products that we build are built for Web3, right? So there's so a lot of these things we build first on Telos because it's a great platform, and we literally got to build the blockchain that we wanted as users. So we like it. But most of the things we're using can use anything. And dStore, for example, decentralized cloud storage, and eventually computing as well. There's no coin. Like, we take a totally different route. There's no coin. You don't have to buy a Filecoin or anything. You use your credit card, or
right.
Or you can use Telos, or you can use other cryptos to pay. But the goal, and the goal there is to make it really easy for big businesses to, pick us as the sweet spot between, Amazon S3 or something like that, and Filecoin. We really get the best of both. And so, and all we use Telos for is paying the node operator, the storage node operators on the back end. So we leverage blockchain. I'm definitely the last guy in the world who says blockchain is the solution for everything. It's the solution for a lot of good things, though, and we tend to focus on those.
I personally was most excited about D-Store when you told me about it about a year and a half or so ago. What got a lot of attention was Telos EVM, which is great. It's been a success as well. But I am very excited about D-Store, and I would love for you to, maybe in a future episode go more in depth on
let's
that.
Let's dive down on D-Store. It's kind of a lot.
Yeah, it is. So tell us about Telos.
Yeah.
What is that blockchain? Why is it great? Why is it different than the other EOS.io chains? And kind of give us that pitch.
So Telos, so I was part of the group of block producers who launched the EOS mainnet. And I was definitely not a leader there. In fact, I was decidedly not a leader there. And I had some opinions that were not deemed important by that group. And that's fine.
That's good, though, right?
I would not characterize it as consensus. I would characterize it as an unnatural belief in everything that Dad Larimer said about the tech. I mean, those.
Oh man, he's got the stone cold face with it as well.
Well, I mean, some things are just true, man.
Yeah.
So it wasn't some process where everybody had their say and was some Socratic, debate, and then finally we came to an answer. Dan just said stuff, and everyone said, "Okay, that's good."
But I'm talking about. I guess you're talking about the EOS blockchain mainnet launch.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So that's where Telos, but that's the
premise behind it.
That's the origin story, right? So that happened. I had some ideas. I was really upset about the fact that they didn't do all the things I was super excited about. They didn't do, like the governance and the work and all those things. So as it came out, I started to recognize some patterns of things I had. I stopped drinking the Kool-Aid, and I said these are going to be real problems. And I ran through a bunch of other people and to try and see if they were interested. And lo and behold, out of that, I came up with the Telos blockchain white paper and put together a group, and we built all that extra stuff that was in the EOS white paper and didn't get built. We launched with, and this is a very rare story, we launched with no ICO and no sale to VCs. So it's the flattest, distribution around. So the outcome of that is, and we also removed the big whales on EOS by doing a haircut at 40,000 tokens per account. It affected less than 1% of the accounts, but it removed 2/3 of the token supply. So Telos today, so we launched in December of 2018, and we've been growing. We were very much the opposite of EOS, in that EOS supposedly had $4 billion or $1 billion or something to build with, and we had nothing but what we could bootstrap. Nobody put any money in. And what's interesting is, it's a great David and Goliath story. We didn't wait around for anything. We said, we're going to do this or it's not going to get done. And the EOS crowd, reasonably, they had been made promises, and so they were waiting for the white knight to show up. Yeah. And he found some other princess, right? He found Bullish. So we that's the lesson, don't never wait for people to build. So we build, right. And we have a culture of building, and we build a lot of hard stuff. And at one point, about a year and a half ago, I said, hey, look, there is this smart contract out there that is sort of the basis of EVM, Ethereum virtual machine run as a contract into EOS.io chains. And it was kind of built for bragging rights, for B1. And I said, hey, let's take this and let's make it. and it had been sitting around for 6 to 9 months or something like that. And it was, it was a tough build, but we figured out, I put together a list of, the 13 things. It turned out to be 113 things that we needed to do, as always is true. But I tricked everybody by saying there was going to be 13. So, and then once they realized that I was full of it, they were too far in.
Right.
There's a lot of things you would never do, a lot of good and worthy and worthwhile things that people would never do if they actually knew how hard they were.
Right. So true. So true. So, today I really wanted to cover the latest and greatest with Telos.
Yeah.
The blockchain, the project. Kind of go through, your present roadmap. I told you at the beginning, the Telos EVM, huge success. We can talk about that.
Yeah.
You've got, I think, in here as well, D-Store. So let's just kind of go down this list we have here for the audience.
Let's
on
do it.
The Telos.net website. So guys, go over there and check it out if you would like. But let's start with EVM. That's the biggest thing, making the biggest noise in the blockchain industry today. What's this all about?
Okay, so we all know there are problems with Ethereum virtual machines. Almost all of them in existence, the vast majority, with maybe 3 exceptions, one of ours being one of them, are actually just built on the Go Ethereum Geth program, and that's how they are run. And so they all share to some extent the same limitations. What we did is we knew that EOS.io, so for all the concerns and everything and all the things people don't like about Block One, and some people don't like them about EOS, it's very hard to untangle these. It is really, truly the best, fastest, most reliable platform for blockchain in existence. It's battle tested. It's everyone else is throwing around numbers for TPS that are theoretical, and then they do tests and they crash and they realize that they're grossly exaggerated. We, the EOS.io chains, worked together and actually tested some of these out. We actually did get over 10,000 transactions per second, and the technology is growing from there. So we have it's really strong technology. And if you can run, it's so strong and powerful, in fact, that we actually run our EVM as a single smart contract on Telos. So it's really interesting, right? So to kind of show, it's like Ethereum is like the old school Nintendo games, and Telos is like the little box you can buy in $19 at Costco or something, that has all of the old games, all of those old games on it, that's emulating, right?
Emulators, right? That's exactly what I was going to say. I remember the emulators I used to run on my PC. Yeah, it can just run all the games, like you said, in one.
Right. So if you have like a system that's an order of magnitude or more powerful, then you can basically run it together. That's how we get across the trilemma, right? And so that's what we're doing, and we're the first to do it. And one of the reasons it's hard and it took a year is that contract that existed was not really meant. It was meant to be able to like run 1 or 2 Ethereum contracts for a company, not to be a full EVM. So we had to make those kind of additions, and then we also had to build up all kinds of infrastructure around it. So like we had to have RPC servers so you can get in touch. Right. We had to have all these plugins, all these templates for people to use. So EVM came out a while ago, and people were really excited, but then we realized you have to have a full ecosystem of Gnosis safe wallets and price oracles and all kinds of stable coins and AMMs and all these things, lending and whatever. You have to have all these things, and we attract. We got Sushi was going to come. Sushi came on. We were super excited, and then they blew up with a bunch of problems of their own, and we realized it's really better to have homegrown versions, because when you have an exchange, a swap or a DEX or something like that, they put out their governance tokens, which love them, hate them, whatever, they're a part of the ecosystem that people know and are excited about, because they know that you can make money on them. And most of the other chains, bigger in total value locked, have already sort of run through that sort of the juicy part of the cycle there. So for a lot of people, Telos EVM is a brand new, ecosystem that's exciting. It's faster than anything. It's a half-second block time. It doesn't miss blocks. One of the greatest things is there's no front running because of how we operate. So it's always first in, first out, and the capacity is super high and the costs are super low and fixed. Everyone pays the same gas price.
So what would be your pitch to an Ethereum developer on why they should come over and dev in the Telos EVM?
Telos EVM, world's fastest EVM. There's no front running, either for DeFi or for buying NFTs or anything else. It's very inexpensive to operate on. We have grants. We have 12 million Telos worth of grants that will, right now are like 10, 12 million bucks. But as we grow, it's going to be a lot more to give away over the next 4 years. We have great developers and we have great help for you as developers. But frankly, it's a place where you can, it's still very much a green field where you can come and put out all kinds of things that already exist on other blockchains. But you can put out like a faster, cheaper, better version of them, on Telos and just build your community. And it's open season. We'll even help pay you to do it. But frankly, you can. I've deployed EVM contracts. I've deployed NFTs. I've deployed a number of these things. It's exactly the same as deploying it to Ethereum or BSC or Polygon.
Right.
Same process.
That's great. Tell me kind of what are you seeing as far as Ethereum developers come on? Is it growing? What
So it started and it's growing quickly. I just got some numbers. TVL grows month after month. Even when the price has gone down lately, the TVL still grew. We've got a few homegrown dexes. They're bringing in lending, but there's nobody has flash loans. Nobody has like an Aave type thing. There's so many projects that someone can just clone and run with and engage the Telos community. It's like we built the roads, we built the buildings, but they're all empty. and come take one, and set up your business, right? It's and it's awesome.
So tell us about the Decide Voter mobile app. Really, I guess we got to back up and you got to tell us about Telos Decide, right?
Yeah, so Telos Decide. So that's remember I talked about the governance we built. Well, GoodBlock actually built that. It's there are a lot of crossovers and built since GoodBlock was one of the leading groups putting this together. There's a lot of stuff that we built. So we built that governance system in-house and open sourced it. And then I always had something I was going to do called DAC Lab, which was going to be an open governance system. And so we built that as the next layer. That's called Telos Decide. And it's a fast, cheap, secure, verifiable, easy, convenient voting system that you can use. And apps started using that for their inner work, like Seeds and Haifa have built great things on it, and they love it. They basically came to me in the early on and said, "You saved us a year of development by building this," and that was the idea, right? No one has to build their own governance system. So and it runs on Telos native, not on Telos EVM. But one of the problems was there weren't a lot of interfaces. So we at GoodBlock then went ahead and built what's now like a suite of, like a G Suite or something. I actually consider GoodBlock to be akin to a Google of Web3, right? We've got 2.5 of the pillars covered in the best way. Right, so this you can go to decidevoter.app. It's on both the Play stores, and it's free. It doesn't track you, and you can see. And we've got some demos online at decidevoter.app, and you can see just how easy and fast and incredible it is. Nobody understands it, and nobody realizes how fast it can be because it's all on Telos. So it's as fast as any other app, basically. There's no, like, that's the great thing about using Telos EVM or any Telos thing. It's just fast. It's just done. It changes for me the way I look at DeFi, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you no longer have to really, you don't have to care about the gas price because that's flat. You don't have to strategize, if you're going to get front run or anything, because that's not a thing. And then the prices are cheap and the things are fast. You click the button, and actually, if you watch on a block explorer, it's done once you click the button, right? Once you click the button on MetaMask or whatever your interface is, it's super fast. And so then getting used to that on something like Omnidex.finance or something, which is one of the great dexes on Telos EVM. You do that, you get used to it. It's fun. It's fun. You're not, you're spending 5 cents to do your thing, or I think the highest one that was last month that we looked at was 30 cents to do a complex swap. And it's just cheap, and you don't think about it. And then you go back to, get something off Ethereum, for heaven forbid, but even BSC or even Avalanche, and they're all just slow. And you go, for me, I go, oh, I forgot you had to do that,
Yeah.
And the development stuff is cool too. Like we're bringing out Telos Punks, which is going to be the most functional NFT ever, right? It's like, you look at how people use these PFPs, these collections of generated art, right? And they use that, like Bored Ape Yacht Club or things like that, and they use those as their profile picture. But no one's ever said, okay, well, why can't it be your status and name and cool messaging, app in its own, not a deep one. It's not trying to become Twitter. It's kind of trying to become a fun way for people who are in the NFT community to interact with each other. And, you and I could have a conversation with our Telos Punks, and then at the end of it, we could make an NFT out of that, and it could get posted. It would get posted to both of us, right? And so, and we're going to have we're going to have, these are 2D, pixel art, but we also have 3D versions that are also use the same DNA and are generated. That's something we've already shown the proof of concept of, but we're going to be bringing out, before the end of the year. And it's just, the reason you can do this as a developer is it doesn't cost any, it costs almost nothing. So it costs, so you can do these things. You'd never do these things on, never have these interactions on an expensive platform, but it's like the cost for these is only, it's kind of perfect, really. The cost is very low, and because there is a low cost, it means it doesn't get backed up with spam or anything. Also, you have to be in the Telos Punks community to do it. So, so it's sort of self-policing. So this is like Telos Punks is demonstrating a whole new thing that NFTs can be, and it's also like pushing a new paradigm for SocialFi, we call it. So
yeah, no, I'm really excited about that. And we did a whole video on Telos Punks on my channel, so I'll make sure I link that to you guys, so you can check it out. I want to run through a few of these other projects and
well, we talked about D-Store.
Yeah, we talked about D-Store.
D-Store, the status of D-Store is it's been in a closed beta for several months, and just because it's the kind of thing where every new thing has problems. We want to have those problems with people who we already have good relationships with, so we can learn from them and fix them before the whole world starts using it. But that time is coming really soon. That Decide Voter and D-Store are both things that GoodBlock works on, but we include some of those in our roadmap because there's such a thin barrier between
this one here, Doug. I'm really excited about.
It's out, man. That's out. It's so much better. I mean, we keep improving it, but dude, that's so much better. And we have the web wallet. We have there's one, if you go there, you can send Telos back and forth to and from the Telos EVM, right? You can it's simple. You can unstake Rex. It's just really kind of cool and fun to use, and and does all the things you want. We're probably gonna make a grandma ready version that's like a jitterbug phone, with 4 buttons. Probably do that down the road because I think that's gonna be good for adoption. But yeah, I mean, that's out. That's good. Telos Scan is still, I mean, it's up and out, and if you can look at telosscan.io, you can see a lot. Now we've got smart contract. We're releasing that in chunks, right? So first you just had blocks, and then you had transactions, and now we have smart contract verification. And before this video comes out, we will also have smart contract interaction, where just like on Etherscan, you can read the contract or send commands and connect your wallet. We have that actually now. It just doesn't show up on the main thing. We haven't switched it over. So that's actually makes it really a lot easier to use. We're continuously developing this. We're also continuously, that's not on the roadmap, but side by side with those two projects, we're doing a open source block explorer for anything, but especially for any EOS.io based code. By the way, EOS.io is not going to be named EOS.io anymore. And by the time this comes out, I think it will be announced that EOS and Telos are going to be working together, hopefully with any chains that choose to join us, to take over EOS.io development under a new name, and take and do what Block One should have done, and do it better and show them how they should have done it. I'm very proud about that. So
that's great news.
Yeah, I'm one of the leaders in that. I hazard to say, and it's going really well. We're making really great progress at this point.
So I'm excited. So this is kind of the future where we're going with Telos EVM 2.0. I want to know.
Switch it out.
Yeah. So
I executed the block producer multi-sig about 12 hours ago.
So what's included in the 2.0 version of Telos EVM?
I think, in a
short run,
what most people are going to see is just little tiny things that were problems before no longer happen, and like reliability, well, there's no reliability, but it's just we're fixing some things. There were a couple of codes that were opcode type things that were not behaving. They were behaving fine, but they were not behaving quite in line with. They were technically right, but they were not behaving in the way that most people were using them. And even though it did have feature parity, for some reason, there were standards that a lot of people were using in their smart contracts that it just didn't play quite right with. This is all like under the hood stuff that but it'll be fast. The block times won't be any faster, but should cost less gas to do things, which really nobody cares about because it's so cheap anyway.
Right.
But it's a lot of good things. Like mainly what we're doing with that is there's a couple codes that some ecosystem partners that we really wanted to have in needed to work slightly differently, and so we made that change. It's funny because you think this thing is one. You think that these EVMs are one thing, and and they're feature parity, and so everything should work exactly the same across everything. But what we find out is, particularly because of how people use these things, we needed to make some changes that that are more in line with what people real developers use. So that's done. We're updating our RPC servers, which is basically the servers around the world that you plug MetaMask into to access that. We have a global load balancer in front of that. We're putting out new code on that soon. And but already we've made big changes. So it's just
you guys. I said this before in other interviews with you. The one thing I commend the Telos development core group is they have milestones and they actually achieve them.
We do. We don't. We don't. What we don't do, we're not great at, is achieving them on a predetermined time scale, right? Like, so punks, like almost everything is an example. But everyone in the software business, when you're building new things, you don't know how long it's going to take, and a
Right.
lot of times you set a date, and sometimes and often people push those dates, and
Yeah.
we've just come to the part where a late product is only late until it's delivered, but a bad product is bad forever. And
Right.
so and we wait things get audited too. Like with the code we just pushed was audited by Sentinel again.
Mm-hmm.
They did our first audit, and such a great job that they actually found a exploit that was a vulnerability in Geth that no one had found in like a year and a half, and everybody had to fix it. When that happens, it was a good audit. It was a very thorough audit, and so they've also audited the EVM 2.0 code.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I'll leave a link, guys, for the roadmap for Telos in the description of this video. Just to sum up really quickly, Doug, it's been a great interview. Thanks for coming on. What are you most excited about for Telos in the next quarter or so?
Boy, I think that once people see what we're doing with Telos Punks, it's gonna just blow them away. No one's even like what I just described to you. It's a whole new model. So I think, and we're going to open source the code for the smart contract. So a lot of people can follow that model and build on it and try different things. Already smart contracts are coming. I'm sorry, NFTs are coming in that are excited. We've got some celebrity NFTs coming on. We've got some really cool things this next quarter. I'm very excited. So I'm very excited about that. And I'm really excited because we're doing a hackathon. Telos is one of the leading sponsors of Consensus in Austin, and we have this big theater, and we're going to do like a great side event within the event, and we're going to have some great people there. And we had a hackathon where the award winners are going to be coming there. We got a lot of great things from a hackathon. I'm one of the judges, and I can't say what's winning, but man, like we reached out for basically the appeal I made to developers a moment ago. We did that within the hackathon, and we basically gave them resources and said we'd pay them. It's $200,000 total prizes, so it's not too shabby. So we got some great stuff, and that's coming out right away. Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really excited for what's going to go on the EVM. Over this next quarter, we're rolling out a lot of stuff. It's this next quarter is going to be a really heavy quarter for rolling out things, new developments, new partnerships. I mean, it's going to blow people away, and some of the and things that are on our roadmap and things that no one's expecting. I'm super excited about it, actually.
Well, great. Thanks, Douglas Horn, for coming on today. He's the founder of goodblock.io. Check him out over there. Their team's doing a great job bringing more value to the Telos blockchain. And so, yeah, guys, make sure you like, share, and subscribe if you want to see more of these types of interviews. The Distributed Show is a new channel or show on the EOS Detroit, now known as Detroit Ledger Technology Company. So check us out. We're doing more content on the channel, and I'll be helping push that forward as well. It's Jerry Rucker. I'm out of here. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.